I don't even.
You don't even try anymore. You're just like, whatever.
Yeah. You do what you do.
Welcome back to the Project Gen X podcast. I am one of your hosts, Alan Smith, along with...
I'm the other guy, Big Dave.
Okay, so we have done, last year, you probably remember we did a deep dive into the year 1984. We went over the movies, we went over the music, we went over something else. Anyway, but the last thing that we did, I believe it was the top 100, like the Billboard top 100 hits of 1984. Well, since we went into, 81, or we went into 91, not 81, we're 10 years off there. We went into 1991 in albums. That's what it was. It was albums was the other one that we did.
Yeah.
We went to an albums and we did movies.
Yeah.
Now we are going to do the top 100, Billboard top 100 singles of 1991. It's going to be fun because I guarantee you we're going to be like, what? How did that song,
There's some junk in this list.
Absolutely. And some of these, I'll be honest, I don't remember all of them, but we're going to start at number 100. You want to do it, or do you want me to?
It's shiny.
Is it happy?
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
It's REM.
That's right. Shiny, happy people with REM.
With one of the songs that, what just happened? I just lost my list. This is what REM does to me every time. They
yeah.
This is like my least favorite REM song.
I think it's
ever.
their least favorite song ever. I mean, they don't even play it anymore. I mean, like they absolutely will not. I saw REM in concert in '95 when they were on the Monster tour.
Yeah,
and they were towards the end of the show, and they were kind of talking about like, what haven't we done, type stuff. And apparently somebody down front yelled out "Shiny Happy People." And Michael Stipe into the microphone said, "I hate that song more than life itself." And I was like, I guess we're not hearing that one. It's
nice.
So anyway, number 99, the Motown song by Rod Stewart. Do you remember this song?
No, I don't.
I do. I was not a big... basically, it's a song about Motown.
Yeah.
Like the lyrics is like, bring over those old Motown records, type stuff. It's kind of like somebody doing a nostalgic, whatever. Number 98, Salt and Pepper, Do You Want Me? I don't know this one.
You don't know this one?
Not this song. Not off the top of my head, anyway.
This was a good one.
Really? I don't remember this one. I know this would have been on, what was it, Black's Magic, I think. This was before, or this would have been whatever album had Let's Talk About Sex.
Yeah.
It was off that album. This was pre, What a Man and Shoot, or, I Want to Shoot, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I don't remember this song. If I heard it, I may, because I do love those ladies.
When you drop the sample here.
I am not dropping samples on this one because I would be... First off, we could never afford the license for all this stuff. And secondly, no.
What's the matter? You don't like editing anymore?
Not this much. Not 99, not 100,
Now, what strikes me as funny is 97 and 96 are the death throes of
80s hair metal.
80s heavy.
Number
80s.
97 is Winger with Miles Away.
And Warrant with I Saw Red.
Which I like that song.
Yeah.
I like the acoustic version more than I like the full studio version that they did. Now, what's funny, if you go back and you watch that video, like the acoustic version, it was just Janie Lane and his acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
That was actually recorded here in Nashville, over off of 4th Avenue, because it's in a cemetery. It's in that cemetery off, like, right after you go under... right after you're leaving downtown on 4th Avenue. You go under the interstate. Yeah, and as you're going down 4th Avenue before it becomes Nolensville Road, that huge cemetery right there. That's where that video was recorded.
Okay.
So. Now 95, one of my all-time favorites, Freedom 90 by George Michael.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Such a good song. Number 94, The Naughty by Nature with a little OPP.
This group doesn't get the credit that they really
don't.
should.
They really
One of the
don't.
greatest rappers of all time, Tretch,
Yep.
is in this group, and you really should go back and listen to the songs that were not singles.
Yeah, they. This song. Yeah. It was a big hit. Don't go Google OPP.
No. No, don't do that. You're gonna need to burn your search history if you do it.
So the next one, Chesney Hawkes with a song, "The One and Only." I think I know what song this is.
I don't have a clue. Which is on par for me.
Yeah. I think I know which song this is, but it's not. It doesn't stick out enough.
92, like your favorite song from this person?
Yes, "All This Time" by Sting.
Yeah. Thought I remembered that.
Yeah, Sting. Anyway,
I'm sorry. I love this next group, and
91.
I love the next song.
"Groove Is in the Heart" by D-Light.
Absolutely.
Yes, this is a jam, man. This is one of those like. This is one of those songs that if you were at a school dance or if you were at a club or at a wedding or something like that, and somebody dropped the needle on this song, you're on the dance floor.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you can't dance, you're out there.
Even the fat boys.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those.
I mean, it's got Bootsy
Collins. I know. It's
smell my finger, man.
It just such a good song that is very, very early 90s. Let's see. What do we got now? In Excess with "Disappear."
This is a good song. I love all of In Excess, but this was a good song.
What album was this on?
I think this was this Suicide Blonde?
It was the album that one was on, yeah, but I don't remember what the name of the album was. Was it? Hold on, I can tell you real quick.
X. It was on X.
It was on X. Yeah, it was the one after Kick. So that's what it was. So yeah, that I do remember this song. "Suicide Blonde's" a great song.
Yes,
I love that song. So, okay, Dave's favorite.
No, I hate this
Gerardo
song.
with "Rico Suave."
It's such a stupid song. It's such a stupid video.
It was a huge hit, though. I mean, a huge hit.
Yeah.
I'm really kind of surprised it's only at 89. But okay, Black Box at number 88 with "Strike It Up." I don't know this one. I know Black Box, but I don't know this song.
I'm thinking this was like the first album that Black Box put out.
Yeah, it's the one that had, and I think we'll see it a little further up, that had Tom's Diner.
It was the fifth single.
Oh, wow.
It was their debut album off of Dreamland in 90.
Okay, so I don't know this song. That's okay. We don't have to know all of them. How about "Just Another Dream" by Kathy Dennis?
Once again, I don't have a clue.
I remember this one. Kathy Dennis had several hits in the early 90s, kind of R&B, top 40 type stuff. And I guarantee you heard the song, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that song. Because I'm sure it was on Beverly Hills 90210 at some point. So.
Oh, I'm sure.
Aaron Neville with "Everybody Plays the Fool."
Everybody
yeah, so his cover of this one. So
sometimes.
Yeah,
it's a good song.
You gotta get that Aaron Neville like vibrato.
I can't do that.
Or whatever it is that he does. It's just like, I remember the first time hearing that and going, that had to have been done in the studio. And then I saw him like sing live. I'm like, no, that's his vibrato. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
All right. So number 85,
Jesus Jones
with "Real, Real, Real."
You remember this one?
I know that this is the album "Doubt" that had "Right Here Waiting."
Yeah,
and I know this song was off of that.
Yeah.
I have heard all of this album multiple times.
You know
at some
this
point.
One. I promise.
If I heard it, I can guarantee you that I would probably know what it was.
Yeah.
This next one, Tara Kemp with "Piece of My Heart." Is this the?
No idea.
I don't know this. Okay, I was just looking to see if it might have been a cover of the Janis Joplin song, but it's not. Maybe if I listened to it, I would know what it is. It's been 30 years, people.
Yeah.
I some people are probably not, what do you do? How do you do? Okay, "Will to Power" is at 83 with "I'm Not in Love." All right, this was a cover. You remember the "I'm Not in Love"? It's from the 70s or something like that.
Oh.
They covered it. Because you remember "Will to Power"? They're the ones that did that cover of "Ooh, Baby, I Love Your Ways" that had Freebird in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it was like a husband and wife duo or something like that. So yeah, they did a cover of "I'm Not in Love" and it hit number 83 on the charts. Here you go.
82. This album came out not long after I had moved.
Yeah, this
to
album
Nashville.
came out the year prior. This was the third single off
Yeah.
of this one, because the first
But-
one was Empire, and then Best Man That I Can.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Jet City Woman.
You're right, Jet
and
City
then
Woman.
this one.
Well,
and
this
then
one came out,
that's
and
right.
nobody knew it was Queensryche.
Because it sounds like Pink Floyd.
Because everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, Pink Floyd's got a new album out,"
Mm-hmm.
and no, it was Queensryche, and they came to town and played at Municipal,
Mm-hmm.
and Suicidal Tendencies was opening up, and I was there to see Suicidal Tendencies, and my buddy Kevin was there to see Queensryche,
Right.
And they didn't just play the entire Empire album. They played the entire Operation Mind's Crime.
Right.
So Suicidal Tendencies opens up, and I'm like, okay, I'm good, And they came out and did the entire Operation Mind's Crime album, which I had owned at one point. And I was like, wow, that was great. 15-minute set turnover. They changed the stage and did the entire Empire album.
Right. Which that Empire album is.
It's great.
That's a back-to-back Operation Mindcrime and Empire of wow, they did a real those are two solid back-to-back albums from somebody, and it was like their second
album.
Was Mindcrime was their second album?
No.
Yeah,
Are
or
you
maybe it was
sure?
their third. Yeah, because they had at least one album prior to that.
Hold on.
I think it was a self-titled maybe or something like that. They had been around for a little bit, and they were out of Seattle, and this was like pre-grunge, stuff.
I can't find it.
Because Queen of the Reich was off their first album, which was because that wasn't on Operation Mindcrime. I don't know. Hold on.
You're right. The Warning and
The Warning, that was the name of it.
Rage for Order.
Yeah, that's right. So that was their third album, was Operation Mindcrime.
Yeah.
And then Empire was number 4, those are two solid albums back to back. Okay.
Yeah, and that was 88 through
Yeah.
93 that those two albums came out.
Number 81. You remember this one, Tevin Campbell, Round and Round? Okay, here's the significance of it. Prince, Tevin Campbell, he went on to be a pretty big rock and a R&B singer. Well, he was like a kid, like he was a teenager when this came out. Okay,
Yeah.
this was on the soundtrack for Under the Cherry Moon. The Prince movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
and
okay.
so Prince wrote and produced this song and everything. You
Yeah.
hear the song, you would know it
Sure.
it has a very Prince feel to it, but it's not him singing, type thing. So
Yeah.
Now the one that I don't know is this Aletta Adams. I'll get it out here in a second. Here, I don't remember this one.
I don't either.
I think we're going to get a lot of I don't remember these. But number 79. Chris Isaac with Wicked Game.
Wicked Game.
Now, this was a holdover from the previous year. I can
Yes.
tell you that much. But it was still such a huge hit. I mean,
Yeah.
it was everywhere. I still love that music video. That's amazing. So.
And then the next one is
Poison.
Something to
Believe
Believe
in,
In.
which is a holdover also
Yeah,
from the previous year, number 78.
which was okay.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Number 77, Michael W. Smith with Place in This World. This is when he was trying to do like a crossover from the Christian to the mainstream.
Well, he'd seen Amy Grant do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So now he was trying to
exactly, and it's a decent song. I mean, it's one of those crossovers that a lot of Christian artists do, where it's vaguely Christian in what it's saying. Like, it never comes out and mentions God or Jesus or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it really hints at it a lot. It's
It's an overarching theme.
yeah, pretty much something like that.
I like the next artist.
Keith Sweat. I'll give all my love to you.
Yeah.
I'll admit I don't know this song off the top of my head. Do you know this one?
Yeah.
I'm sure if I heard it, I would know it. I can almost guarantee.
Okay, the guy who doesn't have a
that-
clue actually knows one that you know.
Yeah, that is actually pretty amazing. Seal with Crazy. Wonderful song.
When this video came out, everybody was just like, wow, what is this?
Yeah, and the thing with him was that, people, because he's got those scars on his face. And everybody's like, what's... And I remember, like, hearing this song and seeing the video and being like, okay, what's... And I read... I think it was in People Magazine, because my mom had a subscription to People, and there was a little article about him. He he had those because he had an allergic reaction to something.
Yeah.
And he had these scars, whatever. And it's one of those things that's like, it just made him even cooler.
Well, you know what they say, scars are tattoos with better stories.
But, he married Heidi Klum, and they popped out 3 or 4 babies, and, and it's like, hey, good on him, man. That's but plus the fact, I mean, he's such a good artist.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that, I've said this before, but it's unfortunate that he's known more for Kiss from a Rose than he is his other stuff.
It's the worst song he's ever done.
Yeah.
You sure? I'm absolutely positive the record company was like, it's for a soundtrack. Come on.
Yeah. Well, he did another song on a soundtrack, a big soundtrack from the 90s, which was Space Jam. You remember that?
I think I actually owned the soundtrack to Space Jam.
Remember, he did a cover of the Steve Miller Band's Fly Like an Eagle?
Yes.
I should have put his version of Fly Like an Eagle as being better than the original in our previous episode.
I don't know. I like Steve
personally,
Miller.
I don't like Steve Miller Band that much.
I've seen Steve Miller a couple times out at Starwood. So,
yeah, well. Okay, Kathy Dennis is on here again at number 74 with Too Many Walls. I don't remember... Off the top of my head, I don't remember this one. I'm sure. I know you guys are being like, how can you not know these? Like, you're doing a whole episode. It's like, yeah, well, you ought to hear what we cut from the movies episodes.
That's true.
That episode was much longer.
Use a soundbite from another podcast. That's true.
Yeah. But next.
Now, if we had made a list of covers that were worse than the original.
I don't know about that. I love
this band, but I hate this cover.
I don't like the original version of this song, though.
Really?
No, the 5-man, was it a 5-man electric band or whatever it is that didn't, which Tesla named this album the 5-man acoustic jam, kind of. So it's Tesla with signs. This was a huge song.
I like Tesla. Yeah. I hate this song.
Really?
I hate their version of this song.
It honestly is probably the biggest thing they ever did.
No, it totally is.
I mean, you could go, was it a Modern Day Cowboy or Love Song?
Love Song is probably their biggest.
But this one was
bigger,
but
Love Song should have been the one they were known for.
Okay, so one of the bands Dave loves is on here at 72 and 71.
I didn't say I loved them. I said I liked them. It's UB40.
I don't know this first one. Here I Am, Come and Take Me.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know. 71, I remember they did this, The Way You Do the Things You Do, which is the old, was it Smokey Robinson song? Yeah. And
but Here I Am, Come and Take Me.
If I heard it, I would probably know it. Here we go. Number 70.
It's almost a Rickroll.
Mr. Rick Astley with Cry for Help. I do not know this song.
I don't either.
I do, however, know number 69 is Mariah Carey with Love Takes Time.
Yeah. Which now we only roll her out at Christmas for the one song.
I know, exactly, pretty much. Number 68, Styx. I did not realize Styx put an album out this year. Show Me the Way. Is it a cover of the
Peter Frampton? I don't know. It might
Let's
be.
See. Hold on. I'm gonna click and see in theirs. It may not be. I mean, it may very well just be
written by Dennis DeYoung.
Okay, no. If it was written by DeYoung, then it's not a.
It was released as a second single from Edge of the Century.
I don't know. Was Tommy Shaw back with them at this point? Because I know he was doing Damn Yankees. I
don't know.
We could almost do a whole episode about Styx and who's in the band and who's not, and who's suing who, and I mean, just because the whole the Dennis DeYoung and the Tommy Shaw, man, they have gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
I think this was just DeYoung going by Styx from what I'm seeing here.
I don't know.
I don't think it had any of the.
But you know what? We actually have a good song.
It had. For this version of Styx, it was Dennis DeYoung. It was James Young on guitar, backing vocals. Glenn Burntnick on guitar.
So no Tommy Shaw.
Chuck Panozzo for bass and John Panozzo for drums. Yeah, it's basically Styx, but it's only Dennis DeYoung.
Right. Here we go. Number 67. Heavy D and the Boys. Now that we found love.
Now that we found love, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. It's a good song, man. It's a jam. Heavy D, man, gone too soon, man.
Same with the next artist.
Prince and the New Power Generation with Cream.
Yep.
Not my favorite Prince song, especially from this era.
No.
But still a pretty good song. I mean, it's kind of like, even bad Prince is good. It's better than most everything else, you know.
It's kind of like cold pizza.
Yeah,
or it's kind of like pizza.
Right.
You know, even when it's bad, it's still pretty
pizza.
good.
I know,
it's still pretty good. Yeah.
The Escape Club, I'll Be There. Now, I remember they put an album out around here. This was, after they had their big breakout hit with, Wild Wild West from back in the late 80s. I remember the big single, like the lead single from this album was, what was I Call It Rock and Roll or something like that. I remember the song, but it just didn't, it never took off the way a lot of this other stuff is.
You know who the producer was on this album? Peter Wolf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. LL Cool J, number 64 with Around the Way Girl. There you go.
Yeah.
LL, man. Is this the going back to Cali era? Or Mama Said Knock You? This is the Mama Said No, or is it? Did that come later?
I'm looking actually right now.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm completely I feel like a failure here not knowing this stuff.
It's from Mama Said Knock You Out.
Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It took me a minute.
All right. So the next one,
I have owned several copies of this album. I love this album.
Enigma with Sadness Part 1.
I love this group, actually.
This is the epitome of the Pure Moods era of this and Enya.
All I'm gonna say is shout out to Sarah.
There you go. This we won't even get into this song, man. This is the song that you would have heard playing at a swingers party in the early 90s.
Come on, no.
This was definitely middle-aged sex party music.
No, that is not what this was. This is not what this was. You need to quit bagging on my techno and electronica.
Okay, we can bag on this one better. Then we got Michael Bolton with Time, Love, and Tenderness.
Yes.
At number 62. Michael Bolton, man.
That's all I'm going to say.
Or excuse me, Michael Bolton, because that's his real name. Did you ever see like his early stuff when he was trying to be like a metal dude? Like,
I've heard rumors of it.
Oh, no, dude. Go and look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious because he's like, of course he's rocking the mullet because, but it's a bigger mullet, it's like all teased up and everything. And
he's trying to do the David Coverdale thing from White Snake. He really is.
He's wearing like a red suit, and it's very, very much like the
White Snake.
Yeah, like the cheese metal type stuff. Oh. But he was a solo artist, and this was and it was just called. It was Michael Bolton was the name, was the name on it.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's terrible, and not even in a good way. So here you go, the KLF 3 a.m. Eternal.
I like it.
Okay,
I like this one.
I got you. High Five at number 60 with I Can't Wait Another Minute. I remember High Five, but I don't remember this song.
No, I don't either. Can't Stop This Thing We Started, though.
By Bryan Adams. I like this song.
I do, too.
I really do. This was the second, it was the first single off Waking Up the Neighbors. Now,
yeah.
Everything I Do It For You was on this album also, but it was actually released earlier and, before the album was released because it was on the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves soundtrack. So it jumped, before the album. But Can't Stop This Thing We Started is actually a pretty decent song.
Yeah.
So, Karina, Temptation.
I remember the name and I remember the title of the song, but I don't remember the song, actually.
I do not remember this one at all. Now, the next one, number 57, Vanilla Ice would Play That Funky Music. You remember this? This was his second single
I know.
That went nowhere. And, of course, it's the old Chic song, Play That Funky Music, White Boy,
With him rapping over the top of it.
It's bad because it's Vanilla Ice.
Now, people make fun of the next group and they make fun of the next song. I actually like the song. You say what you will, I don't care. But their later release stuff where they go back to what their father was doing is actually better stuff.
Number 56, we have Nelson.
After the Rain.
After the Rain, which was the name of the album, if I'm not mistaken.
The video was terrible. It was so cheesy, but the song was decent.
Yeah. You listened to this and cried a lot in high school, didn't you?
No. No.
Okay, number 55. Bonnie Raitt was something to talk about.
Which I like Bonnie Raitt.
I know you do.
And I actually like the song. You treat Bonnie Raitt like you do The Godfather.
Not a big fan of Bonnie Raitt. So.
Oh, ABC.
ABC, another bad creation with Aisha. This was their one big hit.
Yep.
Again, they were. I'll get it out. So they were in that Motown, or that Philly, with Michael Bivins. Yeah, it was
Bell Biv DeVoe, Boys to Men, ABC,
and ABC.
Yeah,
and which gets the shout out in Motown Philly. All of them.
Yeah.
Here we go. DNA featuring Suzanne Vega with Tom's Diner. So I had that wrong about Black Box. What was the Black Box song?
Oh,
they had. It might have been the one that you were talking about. I remember them having a hit.
I don't
remember what it is. I know. We'll see if it's any further up because we're only barely halfway into this.
And I know I've talked about going to see her at Exit N where it was just her and her bass player, and they did the song, and it was just her,
just her acapella, because that's the way the original song was done.
Yeah. Well, no, she didn't even do like instruments. It was just her.
The recorded version of on her album is just her a cappella. There is no instruments whatsoever.
Yeah.
DNA
put the
beat behind it and all that kind of stuff. So.
Next up is Alan's theme song.
Hey, we've been a single as long as I have. The Divinyls with I Touch Myself.
Yeah.
Again, someone gone too soon. Their lead singer died a few years ago.
Yeah.
The song itself is
kitschy.
I remember the first time I heard it.
It's purposely supposed to be somewhat naughty.
I remember the first time I heard it, like seeing the video for it. Okay,
yeah.
And it was coming on, and I saw because they used to have that little. They down in the corner and say the name of the band and the song title and the album, and the record label, and it was the Divinyls, and it said I Touch Myself, and I was like, okay, this has got to be like a metaphorical, like when I sing I touch my
no
it was full on. The lyric is I don't want anybody else when I think about you, I touch myself.
Yeah, they were purposely trying to get
exactly what you're talking about.
They were trying to get attention on their first single,
and it was a huge signal for them. Now they were a one-hit wonder. I know they had other singles after that.
Yeah,
but was it Make Out All Right? I think was their second single off of it or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
And it was okay. But yeah, that is a very definitive '90s one-hit wonder song there. So everybody will remember the vinyls for as long as Gen X is alive, anyway. So number 51, Things That Make You Go by CNC Music Factory. Now, where did they get that from?
Well, it was Arsenio Hall. Off
exactly.
The Arsenio Hall show.
Exactly, because he used to have his little thing. He would say, things that make you go,
and
then they did it. They did the song.
Which makes you go, on how did these folks get a record deal in the first place?
Well, that's the whole thing. Okay, so the woman that's featured in the video doing all the singing is not the actual person doing the singing on the album.
No,
it was what's her name?
I can't pull
she was one of the Weather Girls.
She
sang on a bunch of stuff like that, but they instead went and got some skinny model to.
They totally Milli Vanilli'd the group.
Yeah, I mean, now to her credit, the girl actually could sing, but not like her.
No.
And there was a lawsuit over it, as a matter of fact.
And there should have been.
And she won. So
yeah. This is like one of your favorite Rod Stewart songs.
This is a good song. Rhythm of My Heart by Rod Stewart, on number 50. It's a very Scottish song, with the bagpipes and everything. That album, we talked about it. It was a really good album. It had Have I Told You Lately I Love You. Downtown Train was on this one.
Tom Waits song.
Yeah, Rhythm of My Heart is on there.
Every chance I get
Broken
to,
Arrow
yeah,
was on there. It was a Robbie Robertson song, from the band.
Every time I get to mention Tom Waits on the show, I'm going to do it though.
So Michael Bolton again
He's back with
"Love Is a
another
Wonderful Thing."
Garbage song.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of the same with the group above him, Wilson Phillips.
Okay, I will go to bat for Wilson Phillips.
No, you shouldn't.
Okay,
You're gonna whiff every time.
Impulsive. I'm not a big fan of this song, but let's be honest. "Hold On" is a great song. Come on, dude. Come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
Someday somebody's going to make you want to turn around and say goodbye.
Yeah, because you keep putting this song to where I have to listen to it.
Because it's a good song. All right.
Now, the next song is an awesome song. And an awesome vocalist.
"Power of Love" / "Love Power" by Luther Vandross.
Luther Vandross.
This
This is back when he was heavy man Luther Vandross.
Luther Vandross, he could sing, man. No ifs, ands, buts about that. He sang on Bowie's Young Americans, and Fame, all that era of stuff. He sang backup vocals on that. And dude, he was a very talented person. Yeah. Again, gone too soon. Okay.
Extreme.
"Wholehearted." Not their big song, but a minor hit.
Yeah.
Number 46 on the top 100 of 91.
Yeah, really, Nuno Betancourt should get more credit than what he does.
This song. Okay, it starts off, it's blah, blah, blah. But there's this, he's doing it on an acoustic. There is this really complicated riff that he's playing on the verses that I have tried multiple times to play. I'm like, I can't do it.
Have you gone and looked at some of his YouTube stuff?
Oh, I know.
The videos he's been putting out during the pandemic?
Dude, anything with him. It's so effortless, too, is what is so annoying about it. Is he looks bored half the time when he's playing. He's just like, all right, yeah, I'm doing this. Okay, whatever. Yes.
Not in his YouTube videos. He's having a ball doing that stuff.
Tracy Spencer, "This House." I
don't really remember it.
Seem to remember this one. Again, I bet that if I heard it, I would know what it was. Now, on to the next one, number 44.
Yeah.
"Fading Like a Flower Every Time You Leave" by Roxette. I don't know this one.
Roxette had some decent hits.
Roxette did, but I don't remember this one. Again, someone who's gone too soon. What was her name?
I can't think of it off the top of my head. Hold on, let's see if I can find it.
Marie Fredrickson.
Yeah.
She passed a couple of years ago. Let's see here. Now, here we go.
Now, this one is a staple of the Power Ballads compilation TV CDs.
Number 43, Firehouse with "Love of a Lifetime."
Yeah.
Finally found love.
If there is a Power Ballad compilation album out there anywhere, this is probably going to be within the first 3 tracks.
This song is 80s, or it's hair metal power ballads by the numbers is what this song is. I mean, just no ifs, ands. It's literally, this could have been made in a factory easily.
It was made in a factory.
This, we take this. Okay, we gotta get this in here. We gotta have the key change. We gotta have this.
What were the books that you used to fill out? It was like, give me a verb, give me a noun.
Oh yeah, like Mad Libs. Yeah, exactly. It really is.
This is a Mad Lib power ballad.
I know, and it just no. Now, I will say this: everybody I've ever known who has seen Firehouse in concert said that they are great in concert.
Really?
Yes. Which I know it's like, remember their first big hit was "Don't Treat Me Bad," which was an upbeat song. It wasn't a power ballad, But it's still one of those things where I was like, I can't imagine these guys being that good. But I'm not joking. I heard so many good things about them live. So I guess it is what it is. Now here we go. Number 42, Whitney Houston with "I'm Your Baby Tonight."
Well, it's Whitney.
And it's so good that when the X-Men animated series decided to put their song together, they ripped this song off.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they had
yeah.
It's this song.
Well, what was it Ozzy said? Good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Well, that has been attributed to a lot of people. I've heard that from what's his name, Steve Jobs. I had heard it attributed to him years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is, but yeah, that is a saying that's been around for decades, though, where it's like, yeah, exactly.
All right, Paul Abdul.
Promise of a New Day.
I don't remember it.
I do. All right. We're not going to body shame anyone here, but if you go back and watch this video, you can tell where they've stretched the frames of the video to make her look taller and thinner than she actually is.
They did that to several.
Which
of her
the thing
videos.
is with Paula Abdul. I mean, Paula Abdul is like 5 foot tall. I mean, she's tiny to begin with, but
and if I remember right, back then she was stacked.
she had put on a little bit of weight in between albums, and so the record company's like, oh no, we'll just stretch, because there was a In Living Color made fun of this video. And it was called "The Promise of a Thin Me."
Yeah,
was the song that they did. You know, and it was that whole thing of like, yeah, you can't just stretch the frame and fool any of us, you know. And again, we're not here to body shame, because Dave and I, neither one could body shame anybody. So it's
hi, I'm Dave, and I'm a fat guy.
Yeah. So, but that's what the video is. I remember the song. It's an all right song. I mean, it's an all right song. All right, here's the next one. Number 40,
I don't know
Rhythm
this
Syndicate with Passion, Passion. I don't remember this one at all. I do, however, remember number 39.
Well, to show you what a weird year 91 was, back to back, you've got the Scorpions with Winds of Change,
right,
where the Berlin Wall was coming down,
right.
And right on top of it, you've got DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince with Summertime.
Number 38, yeah.
That's the kind of weird year 91 was.
Oh, no, it gets better.
And honestly, I love both of these songs.
I can do without Wind of Change these days. I'll tell you what it is. Here's the thing that I've never liked about the Scorpions.
Excuse me?
There's only one song by them I really like, and that's Rock You Like a Hurricane.
You've never seen them live?
I have seen them live. Yeah, we saw them live together, remember? They opened for Motley Crue.
I forgot that was you that I went to that show with.
I've never, and I'll tell you what it is. It has to do with their lead singer, because they're German. Okay, so obviously they don't have a great grasp of the English language. So the way that he pronounces some of the words just sounds weird. And I know, look, so, but.
To quote another German band, I hate you.
Yeah, Du Hast. Have you seen that?
Mensch.
Have you seen that meme going around?
Yeah.
But I don't care much for this song, honestly. Now, Summertime is a jam, man. That is a jam. So.
Going back to German bands and Rammstein, a buddy of mine, they had a foreign exchange student that was living with them, and he was from Germany. And we were listening to music, and we were driving in the car, and I reached over and grabbed my Rammstein CD and popped it in and started playing it, and he like freaked out. He was like, where did you get this, and why are you even listening to it? It's all in German. You don't understand it. It's like, I don't care. The music's great, and it's.
Rammstein never did much for me. So.
Well, you've never been into that.
The techno metal stuff, not really. I mean, it's. I don't know. Again,
but you like Ministry, don't you?
I do like Ministry quite a bit.
But that, it's kind of
but they were innovators of that, though, and. Rammstein and some of those other bands, they were like down the road quite a ways. So, okay. Where Does My Heart Beat Now at number 37 by Celine Dion. Okay, this was like pre her becoming big.
Yeah.
Before The Power of Love came out. That was what really blew her up into the stratosphere. CNC Music Factory, here we go. Don't remember this one. I mean, I'm sure that if I heard it, I would, because they had a whole string of hits that during this era, and I'm sure if I heard this song, because it actually charted higher than Things That Make You Go which is strange. So I'm sure if I heard it, I'd be like, oh yeah. But here we go, number 35, Lenny Kravitz with "It Ain't Over Till It's Over."
Love the song. Love the video.
Yes, and this is, again, he was getting divorced from Lisa Bonet. And he wrote that entire album about trying to win her back, and what he was going through and all that stuff. But even he'll admit it was his fault because he was cheating on her,
Yeah.
But it was, but it ain't over till it's over. I've been listening to a lot of Lenny Kravitz here lately, like all of a sudden.
Of course, you know who's with Lisa Bonet now, don't you?
Yeah, it's Aquaman. Khal Drago, Jason Momoa.
There you go.
Couldn't pull his name there for a second. It's a.
I know this is complete tangent, but it was a couple years ago. Harley Davidson was doing this thing where they'd come out with a new type bike, and they were giving it to certain celebrities that they knew rode. And they went out to where he was filming Aquaman, and they gave him this bike.
Right.
And he rode it. He was checking it out, was excited about it, was riding it up and down the studio lot. He came back, and he goes, "That's a great bike. I might pick one up." And they're like, "No, it's yours. We're giving it to you."
Oh.
And he was like, "Really?"
Wow.
He goes, "You're sure? It's mine."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Yeah, no problem." He goes, "Awesome. I'll be right back." He goes into the warehouse and comes out with a rattle can of flat black, and on the spot repaints the entire bike in rattle can flat black.
Wow.
And I'm like, that is my dude right there.
I watched a video with him. It was an interview, because he just turned 40 last year or something like that. And it was an interview where he was sitting there, and he was sitting down with somebody, and they were kind of doing where he started, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But what was cool was that they were in his home studio, and he was playing guitar. That was the whole thing. He started off he was playing this pretty dirty blues slide thing, right off the bat.
But he's a bass player.
I know, but I was just I like Jason. I've always liked Jason Momoa, but the more I see of him, the more I'm like, oh, that dude's awesome. I want to hang out with him.
I want to hang out with it. When he sprayed that bike, rattle can flat black, I was like, that's my dude right there.
I'm sure you've seen the photos from it was I think it was the red carpet for Justice League, of where he's walking down the carpet with his bodyguards, and there's 5 of them, and he's a foot taller than all of them. It's who are they guarding?
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, yeah. So that's Lenny Kravitz. Okay, so number 34, Gloria Estefan, "Coming Out of the Dark." I do not remember this song.
This was after she dropped the Miami Sound Machine.
Yeah, well, she'd done that. There was only one Miami Sound Machine album.
Yeah,
it started off. It was the Miami Sound Machine. Then it was Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine, and then it was just Gloria Estefan after that. Now she kept those same players with her for a long time, but you know how it is. I think her husband was one of the members of the band, wasn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
And I tell you what, for those of you that don't know, of course, if you're Gen X, you probably remember this. She was in a really bad bus wreck.
Yeah,
where she had to have I think she had a metal pole put in her spine or something like that. She couldn't walk. She was laid up for a long time.
They didn't know if she was going to survive. For a while.
And and the fact that she got back to to being able to walk, let alone dance and everything else, was pretty miraculous. So,
tough lady.
Yes,
I don't necessarily like her music, but she's a tough lady.
I like some of it. Some of it's okay. All right, number 33, "Losing My Religion," R.E.M. This was, I hate to say this was their breakout album because Green was kind of their breakout album.
Yeah.
But there was REM there for a while was so funny because Green came out in 88, 87, 88, somewhere around in there.
Yeah, and the two main singles off of it
Stand and Orange Crush were both off of that one.
I was thinking
Green. Yeah. No, we're talking Green. We're not talking about Document, which is the one.
You're right.
Document had The One I Love.
Yeah.
It had "It's the End of the World as We Know It," and it also had
see, for me, that's
Finest Work song was on that one also, which I love that song. That's my favorite.
That's really the album for me that broke them.
That was the one where they moved from college radio darling and started to step into the mainstream. But then Green came out after that, and that had Stand
and Orange Crush,
which both of those were big hits.
Orange Crush is one of my favorite REM songs.
But then, and it was funny because everybody's like, "Oh, this is their breakout album." I was like, well, actually, Document was their breakout album.
Yeah.
Then it was Green, and then And then Out of Time was
This-
released,
this
and it
is
was like, oh, this is REM's breakout album. It's like, how many breakout albums are they going to get?
Well, this is the one that put them
Over the top.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the thing is that like within 2 years, they had put out Automatic for the People,
Yeah.
which was even bigger. And then they put Monster out like 2 years after that, which was big as well. So, REM from about 87. Yeah, from 87, because Document came out in 87. From 87 to like 95, could do no wrong whatsoever. I mean, it was just like bang, bigger, 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 bigger. It just kept getting bigger and bigger all the time. So, okay, I have no clue on this next one.
Let's just go ahead and skip from 32 all the way up to...
Oh, no, I know. All right, look. Natural Selection at 32. I have no idea what this is. The name of the song is Do Anything. No clue whatsoever.
It's kind of funny that their name's Natural Selection because they now, died off quickly.
London Beat, I've been thinking about you at 31. I do remember this song. If you heard it, you would know it. Okay. Again, Kathy Dennis. This is the third Kathy Dennis song. Touch Me All Night Long. If you heard it, you would know it.
You know, for somebody who had 3 songs in the top 100 for this year,
but you see that happen. People will have these huge, like 2 or 3 or 4 songs that are big for like 2 years, and then they just disappear. Vertical Horizon. Think about them.
I still listen to Vertical Horizon.
But the thing is, you remember when they put out that album?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, you had Everything You Want and You're a God and The Best I Ever Had. You know. And it was one of those things, they were everywhere for like 2 years. Never heard anything out of them again.
Yeah.
They never, it's just, you get that every once. Remember Tantric? Remember when Tantric was a thing for like a year?
Yeah.
And then they were gone. I mean, it's you see that. Ralph Tresvant. Okay, do you know who this is?
No.
He was one of the members of New Edition.
Oh, that figures.
Yeah, he was like the other one. You had Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
You had
Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown. You had Ralph, and then you had
the other guy.
The one that. Well, but there was the one. Oh, who was it? No, he went on to be big too. He took the place. He took Bobby Brown's spot.
Go look it up.
Well, my internet's not working for some reason, or it's not working well. Never mind. We'll figure it out some other. I know I'm missing somebody there that went on to be big.
Yeah,
okay. Here we go. Number 28, Amy Grant with Every Heartbeat. I know you know this song.
Oh, I know the song.
Yeah.
I know the song.
Again, this was Amy Grant's year. I'm sure we're going to see her again as we go further up. Okay, number 27, You're in Love, Wilson Phillips. This is one where they let Wendy Phillips sing the lead on this. I like Wilson Phillips. Number 26, Mariah Carey, I Don't Want to Cry. I don't remember this song. I'm sure, Carey. Again, if I heard it.
I'm sure if you played it, all the dogs in the neighborhood would start barking. That's what I know.
It's funny looking at this because, like, number 25, Hold You Tight by Tara Kemp, no clue whatsoever. Number 24, Romantic by Karen White, no clue whatsoever.
Roxette?
Joyride, which is a decent song.
Yeah. And then you got the dog whistle again.
Mariah Carey with Emotions, number 22. Here we go. Madonna with Justify My Love. The video you can't see on MTV.
Yeah.
But Nightline played it.
The entire video.
In
prime time.
And she released this as a video single. Like, it was like $10 to go and buy just this like 4-minute video or whatever. And it's really not much of it. Yeah, well, wow. You get to see a boob. Big deal. You know, I mean,
yeah, but
it's
you
like,
could see that at the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson.
Well, that was years later, though. That was like almost 15 years later. But it was one of those things like, well, here we go. Dave's favorite band.
No, absolutely not.
Yes.
No, I hate this band.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch with Good Vibrations, featuring Loretta Holloway. Loretta Holloway, which I think that's who it was. We were talking about the CNC Music Factory.
Oh,
I'm almost positive that was her.
He's a better actor than he is a singer.
Something like that. No, he's better on reality television than he is anything with the Wahlburgers or on SNL. Say hello to your mom for me. Number 19, Janet Jackson with Love Will Never Do Without You.
This was a good song.
This is a video that also like made Janet sexy.
Yeah.
You know, I remember her in that halter top and the jeans with her hair up and, you know, up in a bun and in the desert dancing, you know, and it's like, oh, Janet grew up, you know.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, we got the Janet album, you know. And
This
it's
was
like,
off of Rhythm Nation.
Yes, it is. I think it was the last single that was released off of it. All right.
You know who the songwriters and the producers were?
Was it Jimmy Jam and
Terry Lewis?
Terry Lewis, yeah.
Yep.
Because I know they did that entire Control and Rhythm Nation album. All right, here we go. Color Me Bad, number 18 with I Adore Mia Moore. One of my favorite memes going around right now is it's a picture of Color Me Bad, and it says, you remember that time that, remember that time George Michael, Kenny G, and who were the other two? It was one of those, we're all in a band together. You know, I can't remember who the other two were. I know it was George Michael and Kenny G. Oh, Michael Bolton and who was the other one? I can't remember who the other one was. But it was one of those things like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay,
well, you know why they called it themselves Color Me Bad, don't you? Because their music was terrible.
It was pretty rough, man. Here we go. Number 17, Jesus Jones, Right Here, Right Now. This song is interesting.
I like this song.
I love this song also. But it's really interesting because, you know, it's one of those things, kind of like we go back to Wind of Change.
Yeah.
Okay. This song was very much a cultural, we're seeing some serious shifts in the world right now. You know, this is the Berlin Wall had come down, you know, the Soviet Union was disbanding, you know, and all this kind of Cold War was over. You know, we were seeing all this stuff.
It's
you know.
back again.
Well, yeah. But it's one of those things where it was like, so you get these songs that are kind of like, you know, culturally relevant in a lot of ways. Yeah. And that's what this whole song is. You know, I was alive and I was waiting. I was alive and I waited for this right here, right now.
Yeah.
You know, watching the world wake up from history, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool, you know, to see that and then kind of put it into perspective. Number 16, Whitney Houston, All the Man That I Need. I'm sure I know this song. It's off that I'm Your Baby Tonight album. I'm sure if I heard it, I know it. Because, again, Whitney. Number 15.
And then every once in a while, this artist rears her ugly head and sings a song and then disappears back to do some kind of stupid movie.
Bette Midler, From a Distance.
Yeah.
One of the most ham-fisted songs I think I've ever heard in my life. I mean, come on. Wind Beneath My Wings was a good song, okay? It was. The first, let's say, 5 times we heard it. Then it just became this other, I don't know what it was. It was some kind of harbinger of bad things to come. Because it wouldn't go away. It just kept hanging around and hanging around. And God knows how many times I've heard somebody butcher that song at karaoke. And luckily no one ever does From a Distance because it's a terrible song. And yeah. Anyway, so number 14, Damn Yankees with High Enough.
I like it.
I
like this group.
Song.
I mean, it was a super group.
Yeah,
I mean,
you had Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
You had Jack Blades.
Yeah.
You had Tommy Shaw.
Yep.
And who was the drummer?
Oh, I really should know.
I know.
this.
I can't remember who the drummer was now.
Hold on.
But yeah, it was a
talking.
super group of, you know, that kind of classic rock. You know, you had somebody from
Michael Cardelloni.
Yeah. You had somebody from Night Ranger. You had somebody from Styx. You had Ted Nugent. You know, so it's like, all right, makes sense. And again, this is kind of a hair metal ballad by numbers in a lot of ways, you know. And
Michael Cardelloni was an unknown drummer at the time who later on joined Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Okay, well, there you go.
So there you go.
So 3 of the guys were made a super group, you know. It's an all right song, you know. Mariah Carey, Someday. I do remember this one, number 13. You remember the song, right? Someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was whatever.
Dog Whistle. Stevie B.
Because I Love You, the Postman song. Okay, I know this song. I cannot believe that it was a top 15 hit. If I played it for you, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 11.
No counting for taste.
Number 11, Motown Philly by Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men.
Great song. This was their debut, and we've talked about it quite a bit. I hate that it didn't break the top 10 because I guarantee
I blame Amy Grant for
Hold
that.
on. I'm sure we can go... I can think of one... I can think of about 3 songs besides Amy Grant that shouldn't be in this top 10, but it is what it is. So number 10, we are into the top 10 songs of 1991 now. Remember, in 1991, Nirvana released Nevermind.
Yep.
Metallica released the Black Album.
Yep.
Guns N' Roses released Use Your Illusions 1 and 2. Pearl Jam released 10. The Red Hot Chili Peppers released... Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yep.
Soundgarden released Bad Motor Finger.
Yep.
Okay. Van Halen released For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I mean, we're talking about like seminal albums of an era.
Didn't get a listing on this.
These are the top 10 songs on Billboard's Top 100. Number 10, Amy Grant with Baby Baby.
Yeah.
I know Dave loves this song.
Not
Every
really.
time I bring it up, you can just see the joy on his face. All right.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've worked with Amy.
I know. I've met her
She's
multiple
a really
times.
super nice individual.
She very much is. So.
She's as sweet as we can be. I just don't dig her music.
That's fair enough. That's fair. It's like what I said about Adele on a previous
and I like the fact that she on occasion will kick Vince Gill in the shins in public to keep him to shut up.
Number 9, The First Time by Surface. I have no recollection of this song whatsoever.
I don't either.
Like none.
I don't have any recollection of the next one.
I do. Number 8, I like the way the Kissing Game by High Five. I do. If I played it for you, you would know it. Early 90s R&B pop. You would know it. You'd be like, oh, okay. Number 7,
Extreme.
More Than Words by Extreme.
This was a huge hit for them.
This was their breakout.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the thing. This is the thing they will always be known for.
Yeah.
I have a mental block on being able to play this song because I played it so much in high school. Like, I physically cannot play it any longer. Like, I can never remember how it goes. And I have played it hundreds of times.
We might have to fix that.
No, I'm good with that. I'm fine with it.
I'm just thinking might be a fun cover for us to do at some point.
No, I'm good with it. Number 6, EMF with Unbelievable. I like this song.
I do too.
This is a early 90s jam right here. Yeah, and you know it, you hear it, and then when he's like, you're unbelievable. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, everybody, you know this one.
Yeah.
Number 5, Timmy T with One More Try. No recollection whatsoever.
Who?
Yeah, no recollection. The number 5 single of 1991, and Dave and I, who were both teenagers at the time in high school, have no recollection of the song whatsoever. Again, it was probably on an episode of Beverly Hills 90210 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Number 4, Paula Abdul with Rush Rush. The only thing memorable about this song is that Keanu Reeves is in the music video.
And they basically tried to do a remake of
Rebel Without a Cause. Basically what it was, and it is early 90s Keanu of no emotion.
Yeah.
He may as well be standing there going, whoa, or I am an FBI agent.
Or
I always go back to that.
Party
it's so
on,
terrible.
dude.
No, to me, that line is the seminal, like, early Keanu. I am an FBI agent. His delivery is so terrible.
Thank goodness he's gotten better.
He has, but still, that was his knock for so many years. Is like he cannot emote whatsoever. So.
And from all accounts, probably the sweetest
one of the
guy
nicest people
you've
I
ever
know.
met in your life.
So here we go.
Everybody dance now.
Hold on. Yeah, that's right. Gonna Make You Sweat. Everybody Dance Now by CNC Music Factory. Big song.
Yeah.
A jam. Again, I know, but it's one of those things that comes on, you're like, oh yeah.
It's better than the number 2 song that year.
Number 2. This
piece of garbage.
The top 5 here, it just...
Terrible.
Just baffles me. Although the number 1, I'll give at least a little bit of credit. But number 2, Color Me Bad with I Want to Sex You Up. That's really all I've got.
Can we just move on? I can't believe you're singing it. I cannot believe you're even going to...
It's got one of the worst lines I've ever heard in a song.
All right, go ahead.
Let's do it till we both wake up. What does that even mean?
It means it was terrible and you fell asleep in the middle of it.
They're going to do it until they both wake up.
He roofied her?
I don't know. It's terrible. It's like, it makes zero sense whatsoever. Of course, whatever. Okay, so number one.
Bryan
Actually,
Adams.
before we get to that, Color Me Bad. Okay. No. See if you remember this. Several years later, Beavis and Butthead.
Okay.
They see a commercial on television for like Metal Fest or something. It's something like that. And they're like,
yeah,
Metal Fest this Sunday featuring Slayer and Megadeth and Metallica and Color Me Bad.
Yeah, that with bands that heavy, you got to have a sacrifice out front.
It was so funny because I remember like they wind up going with Stuart and his family, and like his parents are like completely lame. Of course, they've got like headphones, like noise canceling headphones, and the mom's like, "These guys shed."
I'm not gonna lie, I miss Beavis and Butthead.
I do. They're supposed to be coming back.
I hope they do.
And yeah, so I don't know. That revival they did about 10 years ago was okay, but it was just missing something. Like it was like, those guys, Beavis and Butthead really were of their time, and I think that's kind of the problem. You can't, because we're not in that time any longer. Does that make sense?
It does,
yeah. But I know. I would love for it to come back.
I'm really hoping it's going to be awesome when it comes
I'm hoping.
back.
So anyways, number one, Bryan Adams. Everything I do it for you.
Well, thanks. That's awful nice, but would you quit stalking me, please?
I'd die for you. I'd cry for you. Walk the line for you. Yeah, I'd die for you. Because everything I do. It's true.
This is the beginning.
Everything I do. I do it for you.
This was when he retired from actually making music and took over for Kenny Loggins.
This was pretty much the beginning of him doing every soundtrack that came along. He did this.
Kenny Rogers retired.
Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins, sorry. Kenny Loggins retired, and Bryan Adams took over.
Pretty much. So he did this, and then he did the Three Musketeers with Sting and Rod Stewart. And then he did Don Juan DeMarco. And then he did...
the Don Juan DeMarco song
I like that song. Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman? Is great. Then he did the entire soundtrack for that animated, what was it, Spirit, Horse of the Cimarron or something like it was some animated whatever. Like it really was one of those things.
Was that like a Gimli Studio?
I don't know what it was, but it just. But yeah, he pretty much just went in and started doing soundtrack, movies or songs for soundtracks. Which hey, it's good work if you can get it.
Well, and he's played Riverfront live a couple of different times.
I've seen him in concert.
And he always puts on a good show, and it's a rocking show. It's not like this garbage that he put out in the end of his career.
I have seen him 1.5 times. I'm going to tell the story.
1.5 times. That's an interesting.
So in 1992, I graduated in 1992. Okay, so I was dating this girl. And we were coming up on prom, and I'll be honest, I wasn't real huge on prom to begin with, but it was coming up, and everybody's kind of like, oh, we're gonna go to prom. Blah, blah, blah. So I asked her to go, and she said yes. All right, cool. Then, like a week later, we're sitting there talking, and this will tell you because it was one of those things that obviously the two of us had different ideas about our relationship. Yeah. Because she was like, yeah, I'm going to prom. She went to a different school than I did, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to prom with so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, you're going to prom with somebody else? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going with one of my friends, She was a junior, I was a senior, type thing. And I was like, you're going to prom with somebody else? Just kind of, it's like, all right, whatever. So I pretty much never said another thing about us going to prom. Didn't buy tickets. Didn't. I was like, screw this. So me and Pastor Dave.
Yeah.
And our friend Melanie, that was one of our group. None of us were going to prom, so we're like, we've got to figure out something else to do because everybody else we knew was actually going.
Yeah.
Brian Adams was coming to town that night. He was playing at Municipal, so we're like, let's go to the concert.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. So the three of us and my girlfriend went.
Sure.
Okay. I love Melanie. Okay. Melanie.
Okay, shout outs to Melanie.
Yeah, I can guarantee you she's not listening to this. Other people who know her probably are and may have heard parts of this story. And I'm trying to remember from 30 years ago, okay?
If somebody knows Melanie, reach out and...
No. This is... Again, I love Melanie, and this is nothing bad about her. But Melanie, it was kind of one of those things where... I don't want to get into the whole situation, but it was one of those things where Melanie was very much crazy about musicians and that kind of stuff,
Sure, okay.
And so like we get there, we're not there like 10 minutes or something, and she starts talking to like somebody that she knows or something like that who knows the roadies to this or that or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. So we go up to our seats and we're sitting there and, the opening act was the Storm. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
It was members. It was like Neil Schon from. It was several people that were in Journey. And they had they were opening and they were performing. And we were all kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. And at one point, like Melanie's like, okay, I'm gonna. She like reaches over. She's like, hey, I'm gonna go grab something. Okay, fine, no big deal. So she takes my girlfriend with her.
Yeah.
Okay? So they go down and they wind up missing most of the performance or whatever, and they come back. Like, all right, cool. So Brian Adams starts playing, and we're, I don't know, 20 minutes into a set or something like that. And again, she's like, hey, I'm going to, I'm going to go to the concession stand or something. Like, all right, fine. Yeah. And so she took my girlfriend with her again. And so like 4 or 5 songs later, they're still not back. Like, we're still like, what in the hell? Of course, Dave's watching. He's kind of doesn't really know.
He's watching the music.
He's watching the music. I was too, but I was like, where the hell are they?
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that, I'm not going to say her name, but the girl I was dating, we've kind of been rocky for a little bit anyway, as it was, and it was just kind of one of those things that stupid high school BS, And so I told Dave, I was like, hey, I'll be back. So I walked down in the corridor, went all the way back down, blah, blah, blah. And I go down there and I see the two of them talking to some guys, like whatever, of course. And it was one of those things that I just started seeing red immediately, because I was just like, what the hell, And so I went back up and I got Dave and I'm like, come on, let's go. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm like going off, whatever. And we get down there and can't find them anywhere.
They're backstage.
I found out later that they wound up like going back like where the buses were or whatever, type stuff, because Melanie, whatever. But it was one of those things where it was like, I was really pissed about this situation. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And in hindsight, I can look at it because it was one of those things that we wound up leaving. Like literally, when we found them, I'm like, we're gone.
Yeah.
And of course, Melanie's immediately like, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying, but I was like, I don't care. I drove. I'm like, we're getting the fuck out of here. Okay, sorry for the language. Yeah, I was just mad, and it was literally one of those things that we went and dropped my girlfriend off, and Dave, I think, talked to her, trying to find out what was going on, and everything, and I was just like, I don't care anymore. And that essentially was the end of us at that point. Later, Melanie told me, whatever. Of course, my girlfriend's explanation was, well, we went down there and she, started talking to those guys and then they were going to go back and I didn't want her to go back there by herself, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying this by any stretch of the imagination, because it was my argument was you didn't have to go to begin with, but you did.
Yeah.
It was one of those, because they weren't friends. They had met a couple of times, but they weren't like buddies or anything, and so, and it was just, and there was a lot more going on there too, because, God, it's been 30 years. I can say this is Melanie and I kind of had, there was chemistry between us. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Okay.
And but like there just was, So it's one of those things of like, I'm with this girl that is obviously doesn't want to be with me, and the girl that I'm kind of really interested in is doing and it's like it's just this whole big thing, that was stupid. It was all stupid high school BS is what it was,
Well, that's pretty much all high school.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why I always say that I've only seen Bryan Adams 1.5 times, because we saw like half of that concert before I pulled all of us out of there. And then I don't know, this is about a year or so later, he came back through, and it was kind of one of those cool things where he wasn't touring for an album at that point. He was just kind of like, hey, I'm going to go out for the summer. Yeah. So he was just doing whatever he wanted to. Yeah. And did dude, it was such a good show. I mean, it was so good back there at Municipal. And it was funny because the girl that I was dating at the time, we hadn't bought tickets yet. So we walked up. Well, as we're walking up, there was guys like, hey, you getting ready to buy tickets? He was like standing inside where the box office was. I'm like, yeah, it was kind of an older guy. I was like, yeah, why? He's like, look, we have some extra tickets. He was like showing he had like 2 days. He was like, I just want to get my money back. That's all it is. And I was like, well, what do you got? He's like, well, I've got these tickets that are up. He's like, well, I got these tickets that are on the floor if you're interested in those. So we gave him the money for that. And we were on like the 6th row or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was really kind of cool. It was like, all right, this is awesome, So it wound up being a really good night.
Nice.
Yeah. But so, yeah, that's my seeing Bryan Adams 1.5 times that I've talked about sometimes.
I have pulled up the band members for
The Storm.
Okay. And it was Kevin Chalfant on lead vocals and guitars.
Which he was with Journey. Remember the way that you or the
hold on,
Stone in Love. Like that. You remember that you had those vocals that weren't Steve Perry.
Yeah,
that was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, let me do this. They've got it listed differently here. Greg Rowley was the original lead vocalist and keyboard player for Journey, and he was on keyboards and lead and backing vocals.
Okay.
You had Ross Valerie on bass guitar and backing vocals. You had Steve Smith on drums. You had Kevin Chalfant, who had a number 12 rock chart hit in '82 as the lead vocalist with AOR.
Okay.
Band 707, and he was the lead vocalist. And you had Josh Ramos, who cited the Journey founder and guitarist Neil Schon as a major influence, was the lead guitarist.
Okay.
And Ramos had previously replaced the Journey guitarist Neil Schon in Hardline.
Okay. I knew there was some kind of there was Journey. there was a family tree of Journey in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
evidently associated acts with this group was Journey, The View, and Two Fires.
There you go. So. Well, it's funny to go back and look at some of this stuff because you remember Arcade.
Yeah,
it was Stephen Pearcy from Rat, and I think it was actually one of the other members of Rat that was in there too. And then they pulled some other guys in, And like I saw them open for Bon Jovi, like the next year or something, like when they Keep the Faith tour, And it was kind of one of those things where it was, it's you saw that like right there at the end of a lot of like that 80s, as the 80s were really like leaving, and the 90s were coming in. You saw a lot of those bands start breaking up, and they were putting together these other damn Yankees, that type of stuff. And that was our journey through the top 100 Billboard hits of 1991. It's like I said, it's so funny to go back
and look and see what was released that year.
What was released that year as opposed to what actually topped the charts.
Yeah.
And it
just goes to show that nobody has any taste in music.
It's one of those things where you look at it as
yeah, I said it.
Yeah, okay. But you look at it as Extreme had 2 top 100 hits and Nirvana had none.
Yeah, I know.
It's that type of stuff. Honestly, Firehouse had a top 100 hit. Nirvana had none.
Well, in all honesty, Nirvana's album didn't start hitting until later. 92.
No, well, it started hitting in like October or November or early November or something. It was like right before the holidays. Like it really was. And then that was like I said, that's the famous thing. They talk about how like, oh, Nirvana's the act that knocked Michael Jackson off out of number one. And a lot of people say that's because parents bought the Michael Jackson album for their kids, and the kids went and returned it and bought them the Nirvana after Christmas, and so therefore in January of '92 they knocked him off the top. But yeah, that was 91 is such a, especially for music, it was such a landmark year of like I said, we can go back and listen to our albums of 91 episode of seeing like, there was a dozen or so albums that are, huge, like, no, this was game changing. No, this was no, this one was game changing also, especially bringing in that, that the grunge and the alternative type, stuff that would go on to dominate the
you started hearing rumblings of this going on in like 90.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time I heard Soundgarden, which was probably 90, 89. It was from listening to a Metal Shop on
I loved it.
KDF used to come on Sunday nights, with the Butcher Charlie Kendall, but it was, I always got to do the voice. Metal Shop. Exactly. But I remember them playing Soundgarden. And this was, I guess it was probably Louder Than Love, that album, some of that stuff. But it was like, okay, cool. You would start hearing some of these people.
What was that other show that played on 104 that was like on Saturday nights or Sunday nights? And it was like a rewind show. It might have been called Rewind.
Oh, you're talking about on it was on the classic rock station?
Yeah.
They had a couple. There was one of them that was called Rewind or something like. But they had another one that was called like classic albums.
I think Rewind is the one I was thinking about, because then they would talk about the bands between the bands, and they're like from 1970.
Yeah.
I loved that show. I missed listening
I used to
show.
love the classic albums show.
Yeah.
That's how I discovered Meatloaf. Because I was driving back from Cookeville on a Sunday night. My girlfriend went to school at Tennessee Tech.
Yeah.
And I went to drop her off, and I was driving back from Cookeville back to Nashville. And I could get 104.5. Back then, 104.5 was the classic rock station. It was the Fox, yeah.
104.5, the Fox.
Yeah. And but it was, that came on. I was like, Meatloaf, as I always had like kind of a tangential. I remember seeing the album and stuff, Bad Out of Hell, blah, blah, blah. But they went through, and it was one of those things, like they would play the songs and he would talk about them and that kind of stuff. And I like the next day went out and bought the album. I was like, this is amazing.
Did you get it on a cassette tape?
Oh yeah, I got it on cassette tape, because this was 92, and so it was one of those things. It was like the cassettes were, I wasn't quite into. I got my first CD player in Christmas of 92.
Okay.
So this would have been like in the fall sometime when I heard that. So I was picking up, cassettes. And then it was funny because like the next year was when Bad Out of Hell 2 came out. Yeah. And then that blew up everywhere. Yeah. So it was kind of,
because he'll do anything for love,
but he won't do that.
He won't do that.
And we all know what that is. Yeah, it's that. So
it might be that thing that China's doing right now.
I think that's what he has come out and said in recent years, that it definitely has something to do with that. So, but there's no swab involved. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for spending some more time with us while we talked about 1991. We'll have more stuff for you coming up, and in the meantime, go and check us out. Go check our links in the show notes for all of our social media and emails. And we will be back again very, very soon. I am Alan Smith.
I'm the other guy, Big Dave.
And we will see you.
See ya.